Good morning, everyone, and this is our seventh Journal Club meeting. I welcome you all on behalf of Council for Ayurveda Research, and this is India chapter, and we have been engaged in various Journal Club activities every month. And today we are blessed with presence of esteemed Ayurveda pharma expert and academician Vaidya Milind Patil sir. He is MD in Ayurveda Samhita, and he is also RA Poddar alumnus with his vast teaching experience as a lecturer at college. And then he also headed the Department of Samhita and Siddhanta at YMT Ayurvedic Medical College, Kharghar, Mumbai. He has made scholarly and thought-provoking presentations on reputed platforms dealing with the burning healthcare issues of the day. His creative contributions have stood head and shoulders above the rest in substance as well as in style. And that is you are going to see in today's presentation. He is well known for his 4-hour module of Panchadashi, the art of learning Charak Samhita by heart, and he has delivered this course over 100 times. Vaidya Patil's passion for teaching continues unwetted despite the long years he has put in. He is ever ready to teach and interact with students as well as professionals in a spontaneous and friendly manner. On the clinical trial front, he is also having experience and expertise over the entire gamut of therapeutic specialties, wherein he has scientifically studied herbal actives as well as the finished products. His pharmaceutical career started way back in 1996, and he is a well-known pharmaceutical physician having experience in pharmaceutical giants like Charak Pharma, Repatos, Cochrane, Thermes, and currently he is serving as medical advisor at Sandu Pharmaceutical. Today, he is presenting a research article, and we are going to see the critical appraisal of this article. This article focuses on COVID pandemic, and it's a RCT, randomized control trial. It states that effects and safety of herbal medicines among community dwelling residents during COVID-19 pandemic. It's a large prospective randomized control trial. So looking forward to a great session, sir. I welcome you all from Council of Ayurveda Research and Journal Club India chapter. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for that kind of introduction. I'm sharing my screen.
Yes, sir, please.
Can you see it now?
Yes, we need to put it on presentation mode, sir.
Okay, great. So, good morning, friends. It's a Sunday and you're spending time with me. So I'll make sure that we learn something today.
Sir, your presentation needs to be on slideshow mode.
This is slideshow. I have done a slideshow here.
I think
you can't see it in a slideshow.
Not yet, sir.
But I see a slideshow on my screen.
Okay, there must be some lag. We need to stop and again share, sir. Maybe that will rectify.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now?
Yes, sir. But still it is now single slide.
Is it a single slide?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go by slide
yeah.
by slide. Okay. Yeah. So shall I continue now?
Yes, sir. Please. Thank you.
Yeah, friends, we have been going through a very bad phase in our career, in our life. Not only we, the world over, we are facing this corona problem. And when I saw this article published in Phytomedicine 2021, I got interested into the article right from the title of the paper, Effects and Safety of Herbal Medicines among community dwelling residents during COVID-19 pandemic, a large prospective randomized control trial. We are all aware of what clinical trials are, but then when I went through this article, I thought that, and there was an invitation from the group that will you share something with us? So I thought that why not share this article with the audience? And then I was asked to critically look at the article content. So what I did with this article while reading, I will share it with you and I will share my ideas with you. Just look at the title, Effects and Safety of Herbal Medicines. Generally, when we read a clinical trial report, the word is not effect, but efficacy. But then I started thinking right from the word go, that is effects, why they are talking about effects and not of efficacy. Because they were not looking for the herbal medicines efficacy, but what happens to the participants. And that's why probably they use the term effects. So I will share my thoughts about the article. As is our tradition, my friends, we always do a namaskar. I remember my Guruji every day of my life, Vaidya Vasudev Prasad Vyas. And he had that habit of writing Sri Hari on the blackboard, and that's why color of the slide is black, and that's Sri Hari. So whatever, whenever he started speaking, anywhere, even if he is writing something on paper, at the corner of the paper, he will put Sri Hari. On the blackboard, he enters the class and the window, he will put Sri Hari. So Guruji taught me a lot. Guruji taught a lot to the generations of Ayurvedic Vaidyas and Ayurvedic practitioners and Ayurvedic students who were in Podar Hospital, Podar College. Okay, so I always remember, and whatever I learned, will share with you here. Now, when you start reading the article, or when I start reading the article, or when I start writing the article, I make sure that I'm successful at catching the attention of the audience and then interest. Then I want them to increase their desire to understand it, so that at the end of the presentation writing or paper reading, they to take some action. So how does the article writer catches the attention? So when I was reading the article, what are those attention factors? What are those interest catching factors? What are those details which will increase your desire? And at the end of the report reading, what action do you take? That's how I scrutinize, I treat every article, every publication, every blog, or every book that I do. So my sincere request to you, just try to understand how the author is catching your attention. Is it the title? Is it some other word or phrase in the title which is catching your attention? The thing that caught your attention made you pick up that article to read, and therefore make sure that how does that communicator is catching your attention. After he is successful in catching your attention, there are 3-4 lines which will make you interested in the content, and content is a quite detailed description of the study which will increase your desire, and looking at the content itself, your desire increases, and then you take the action of reading it, and you take the action of following whatever that article asks you to do. So reading any article, you must think of this IDA model, which consists of attention, interest, desire, and action. Then what do I do with the article? I make sure that I ask my 6 honest serving men to work for me. This is a very famous poem by Rudyard Kipling, 6 honest serving men. I keep 6 honest serving men. They taught me all I knew. Their names are who, what, why, when, how, and where. And the beauty of this serving men is that they are honest and they don't charge a pie, don't charge a money from you, they don't charge any fees from you. So you can make them work for you around the clock. Their names are who, what, why, when, how, and where. And based on this 6 honest serving men poem, I have devised a technique to learn anything and everything. So these are the 6 honest serving men at your service. And just look at the figure here. Why, who, what. When you start thinking about all these serving men's inputs, you get a complex and you get to understand the various facets of the same subject. Okay. So when I started reading this article, Effects and Safety of Herbal Medicines, I made my 6 honest serving men work for me. And how do I do that? I ask a simple question. Who did what, when, where, why, and how? So a 2 minutes meditation, holding that article in your hand and asking a question. Who did what, when, where, why, and how? And you know the authors, you know what they did, you know when they did, where they did, why and how, and what is the end result of the whole presentations. So just asking this question before beginning to read the article is very critical, my friends. And I have a lot of experience in using these techniques in my reading, in my even writing. So if you want to communicate a good thought in article form, in a blog form, you make sure to answer who did what, when, where, why, and how. You are all Ayurvedic doctors, I know. And right in the first year of your BMS, you learned Karta, Karma, Karan, Sampradhan, Apadan, Sambandha, Adhikaran, and Sambodhan. All these karak are used in this who did what, when, where, why, and how. And when you are asking these questions, you are ideally looking for Karta, Karma, Karan, Sampradhan, Apadan, Sambandha, Adhikaran, and you are addressing somebody, that is Sambodhan. So this is how we need to understand all Ayurveda, all Padartha Vignan to understand even the modern sciences like this. So let us begin. It was in 1985 or 86, I recall, one of my mentors, a very big person, came to me. I was in the office reading something, and he looked at my table and he said, "Are you reading that article?" I said, "Yes, sir. Yes, I'm reading this article." And then he gave me first mantra of reading the article, and he told me, "Milind, let me tell you a method of reading any article. So before you start reading the article, you go to the reference section of that article and start reading those references in serial way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So when I picked up this article to read, naturally, I went to the reference section of it. Anderson, Aurora, Bian, Carter, Cao, Wang, Chen, Yang, etc., etc. And I was a bit confused. Why? Because these references are cited in alphabetical order. They don't appear in the article in chronology 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because when I see this article and the first referred article in introduction section is WHO's article, which comes at W. And therefore, I lose the contact. So if these references were cited in chronological order as they appear in the article, I could have understood. I could have sensed the thought process that that writer is having then and there. Because after I go through the list of the references, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, say for example, there are 36 articles mentioned. Looking at the 36 titles of the article, I can understand the flow of the complete article. So this was my mentor telling me a very important technique that Milind first go to the reference section. But unfortunately, this reference section did not really help me a lot because they were not in the chronological order. Then, of course, abstract of the article. The title reads, Effects and Safety of Herbal Medicines Among Community Dwelling Residents During COVID-19 Pandemic, Large, Prospective, Randomized, Controlled Trial, RCT. So we learn a very important subject in your first year, that is Padartha Vignan. Look at each pada which makes this title. Think of the artha, meaning. We did talk about the pada effects, and we thought that why it is not efficacy. And then we also reasoned why it is not efficacy but the effect. They were looking at the effect of 5-day administration of herbal medicine in a community. So it was not really an efficacy trial, but they were looking for certain effects for the medicine. Okay, so we need to understand the background, purpose, study design, methods, results, conclusion, and keywords. I read background, purpose, study design, methods, results, conclusion, keywords. I ask that question, who did what, when, where, why, and how. Now, when you are asking this question, you are absolutely in the receptive mode. So each and every line, paragraph, and section of that article is really feeding you your answers to your question. And reading article this way makes you grasp the article easily. Not only you grasp it, but you remember the article content forever. So who did what, when, where, why, and how? Your question is answered. Background, purpose, study design, methods, results, conclusion, and certain keywords. So let us go to the background. Yes, we are all aware. Since the declaration of COVID-19 as a global pandemic by the World Health Organization, countries are struggling with shortage of medical capacity. Hello.
Yes, sir. Sorry to interrupt. Are you moving the slides? Is it?
Yeah, I'm moving the slides. You don't see the slides?
No, sir. It is still on the first title page. Reading.
No, but then I have moved a lot.
I think it is not moving, sir. It is stuck at the first slide itself.
This is the first slide that you see now. Hello?
No, sir, it is not moving.
No, then there is some problem at your end. I don't know.
Sir, you need to just play the slideshow. This thing.
That is what I'm doing on my laptop.
I think there is some technical problem. Can we do it again? Stop and share.
I'm stopping the sharing.
Yeah, please, sir.
So you could tell me this. Okay.
I thought that still it is
others are saying.
Yeah. I cross-checked with one of the participants, then they also confirmed it.
Can you see the slide now?
Yeah, now it is full screen, sir.
Is it moving?
Yeah, finally, yes.
Oh my God. This is what happens to modern technology.
Yeah, no problem, sir. No problem.
We need to go back to our Ayurvedic ancient.
Yeah, participants are also requested to put in the chat box if something gets stuck, please, because I think it was a lag from my side. That's why.
Shall I repeat it?
I think
okay,
it is. You can just scroll through the slides.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I think, yes, my friends, I'm sorry for that problem. But then this was my first slide, my Guruji. I talked a lot about my Guruji. Is it moving now? Slides are moving now. Hello. Okay.
Yes.
And
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
okay, yeah, then I move. So we did talk about some IDA model: attention, interest, desire, and action. And this is the wonderful slide. I make everybody understand this. 6 honest serving main, and think of that karakas, vibhakti pratyayas, karta, karma, current, Sampradan, Apadan, Sambandha, Adhikaran, and Sambodhan. And read everything and anything that you want to master and ask these 6 questions. Who did what, when, where, why, and how. And then you will get the content grasped, understood, comprehended, and you remember it forever. Okay. I did refer to my first mentor in the pharmaceutical industry, who asked me to go to the reference section of any and every article before I start reading the article. But then unfortunately, this particular article gives the references in alphabetical order, not in numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as they appear in the article. If that is the style adopted by the article, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then WHO article would have featured as the first number. So right from first, second, third to 44th last article, when I go through the headings of the article, I get the content of the article at a glance, and that makes me primed, that makes me ready for reading the complete article. So yes, we start reading that article, other effects, and you start asking a question. Generally, we have efficacy and safety, these 2 words together. Why effects? So they were not really looking for the herbal medicines efficacy per se, but they were looking for the effects of that herbal medicine in community. And that's how, when you ask that question, my friends, who does what, when, where, why, and how, you are really looking for the background of the article, purpose, study design, methods, results, conclusion, and keywords. So let us look at the background. Yes, last year and a year before that were very bad for us. And WHO declared that COVID-19 pandemic, it would be essential if the risk for preventable comorbidities, such as the common cold, can be reduced or prevented, so that the scarce medical resource and even today, we don't have real treatment for the corona. Okay, and that's why initially they started using the already available antiviral medicines. They reposition them as anti-corona, anti-COVID, but then they failed in the whole thing. We are yet to see the vaccination of the whole population, and therefore Chinese people thought that why not go for trying their ancient, their age-old remedies to see their effects, what happens to preventable comorbidities, such as common cold. And that's where they plan a study, a community-based study, to see the effect of their 2 formulations. Okay, what was the purpose of the study? To evaluate the effects of 2 herbal medicines in reducing the risk of common cold in community dwelling residents in China during the COVID-19 outbreak. I welcome you all to read this purpose again, to evaluate the effects of 2 herbal medicines in reducing the risk of common cold in community dwelling residents in China during the COVID-19 outbreak, and see the answers for your question: who did what, when, where, why, and how. This way, if you read to evaluate the effects of 2 herbal medicines in reducing the risk of common cold in community dwelling residents in China during the, you remember the purpose and you remember the article, and then you are really ready to go into the details of the article. What was the study design? A prospective, not retrospective, open label, parallel group, cluster randomized control trial was conducted in Chengdu, China. So where was it conducted? In parts of the China. What was the method adopted? A total of 22,065 participants from 11 communities, which were quite distant apart, were recruited during a period of 1 month. The trial started on 30th January and participants were followed up till 29 February 2020. Participants were randomly assigned to receive either a 5-day herbal medicine therapy plus a reference manual or a reference manual only if they were allocated to the control group. The primary endpoint was the occurrence of patient-reported common cold symptoms. The secondary endpoint was the time in days from the receipt of herbal drugs or reference manual and the occurrence of the cold. So, looking at the methods, we must ask a question: why such a big number was identified? A total of 22,065 participants. 11 communities we can understand, 6 and 5. But why this? So they must have sought the help of a statistician, and statistician sat with the investigators and they thought of the prevalence of the common cold, etc., etc. They arrived at a particular number, some 4,000 something, and they thought that, okay, we'll go for 11,000 and 11,000 in control group and medical group, herbal group. And that's how they arrived at this number, 22,065. Okay, so we need to understand the statistics here. I'm not the expert statistician, but then when I looked at the number, I went to that particular portion. Why this big number? So there is a reasoning given that some percentage of people fall sick of common cold, and therefore, if you're looking for 80% efficacy, you need to have at least 4,000 patients. And they went for 22,000. What was the primary endpoint? The primary endpoint was the occurrence of patient-reported common cold symptoms. So doctors, health volunteers were calling them, are you suffering from common cold? Are you getting common cold? And the patient was reporting, yes, they have those common cold symptoms. And then secondary endpoint was time in days, after 3 days, after 4 days, after 5 days, something like that. So 11 communities assessed for eligibility. Out of 11 communities, randomly assigned 5 communities were assigned the herbal medicine group. 6 communities were assigned no medicine, only reference manual. And this is how is the flow chart of randomization, enrollment, and follow. So ultimately what happens? This is the baseline information, herbal medicine group and control group. You see their range of age below 60, 16 to 59 years, and more than 60 years. You have numbers of males and females, and you have the history, whether they had common cold or related symptoms during the screening period, then common cold symptoms percentage, other related symptoms percentage, and no symptoms at all. So this is how the number in the herbal medicine group, 11,089, and in control group, 10,000. And so total groups are, numbers are 11,092 here and 10,000, quite comparable. What were the results? Use of herbal medicine reduced the risk of common cold by 90% almost, with that 95% of confidence interval in all community dwelling residents, and by 94% in residents aged between 16. So sensitivity analysis showed similarly. So what does the study results show? That administration of herbal medicine did reduce the occurrence of a comorbidity of COVID-19, a common cold. And if you reduce the comorbidity of common cold, you really prevent coronavirus. So these are the effects of herbal medicine on the risk of common cold and by age groups. Herbal medicine group, and then you have a, and look at those probability p-values. And a 0.05 probability value was considered to be a significant, and this is quite significant here, very, very significant. This is the sensitivity. Again, look at the probability value, quite low, which indicates that herbal medicine was effective in control. And then that certain graphs are given, Kaplan-Meier given. When I read article and when I come across something very weird like this, I open the dictionary of statistics and look at the Kaplan-Meier test. And when I read it, see herbal medicine group and control groups, there are two lines. And it is clear in that red line that cumulative event rates were quite low, whereas those persons who were not on medicines, cumulative event rates was higher. I don't really go into the details of the numbers because I am not statistically oriented person, but just looking at the distance and looking at this vertical and 0 to 14 days, we understand that yes, that medicine is effective. Probability value will make you understand that medicine effect is really significant. This is what the sensitivity analysis, same graph, but then here families with patients who had symptoms at baselines were excluded. So you find these numbers little small. This is 85, this is 82, because those families were excluded in this analysis. And even after the exclusion of those, we get that cumulative event rate is less in that group which took herbal medicine. So they concluded this community-based randomized control trial found that the use of herbal medicine therapy could significantly reduce the risk of common cold among community dwelling residents, suggesting that herbal medicine may be a useful approach for public health intervention to minimize preventable morbidity during COVID-19 outbreak. So what action do we take after going through this article? We get to understand that herbal medicines are beneficial in strengthening the respiratory system immunity, and we should make sure that even Ayurvedic medicines, maybe like Yashti Madhu, maybe Pipali, maybe Vasa, Draksha are used to strengthen the respiratory. They may have a multifold activity. They will have, these herbal concoction will have immunostimulating activity, antiviral activity, both activities together, anti-inflammatory, etc., etc. So we can very well go for Ayurvedic Kasar Varga, Ayurvedic Shwasar Varga for the prevention and even for the therapeutic use of this medicine. That's the action that we need to take. So this is the conclusion, that those two herbal medicines could significantly reduce the risk of common cold, making us understand that those medicines are Balletu Pranavasutas. So keywords when you search for the article: coronavirus disease, herbal medicine, common cold, respiratory tract medicine. You can add traditional Chinese herbal medicine, etc., etc. So friends, when I look at the title, when I start reading any article, this is how I go. I go by IDA, attention, interest, desire, action. I write there, first thing first, I will go to the reference section of that article. And if that reference section cites the references in chronological order as they appear in the article, then I'm very happy because I get a gist of the contents. And then I ask a question: who did what, when, where, why, and how. And then I start reading the article, and then complete article makes sense to me, and I don't really forget the content. Then there is something Devanagari written here. I understand that my audience today is Ayurvedic doctors. In our first year, we read Pratidnya, Hetu, Udaharan, Upanay, Nigaman. And we have that last section of that Tarka Sangra talking about various Hetu Abhas. So Pratidnya, as we learned then, I learned this in 77, 78, Parvato Vanniman, Dhumavatva, Parvat, यत्र यत्र धूमः तत्र तत्र वह्निः यथा महानसम् उपनय तथा च अयं निगमन तस्मात् पर्वतो वह्निमान. So when I read an article like this, I identify the Pratidnya, herbal medicine, this XYZ herbal medicine reduces the chances of common cold. Hetu, this population received this. That is the Udaharan. Upanay, this is how it happens. In control group, it did not happen. Therefore, Tasmad, these two herbal medicines could prevent common cold in the population. And then there are Hetuabhasa. Someday, sometime in future, we may talk about Hetuabhasas in detail. Hetuabhas will make you understand the various confounding factors that are there in the study report. So, be it Sovevichar, Viruddha, Satpratipaksha, Asiddha, or Badit, you can identify the Hetuabhasas, which are not real Hetus, but they appear to be real Hetus. Say, for example, there is one kind of Hetuabhas which is Ashraya Siddha. So, when you say Parvato Vanniman, there is no Parvat. When you say you administered a medicine to obesity patients, diabetic patients, and you don't see obesity and diabetic patients there. So that Hetuabhas is there. So we need to understand all these 9 Hetuabhas so that we can identify the confounding factors appearing in the article. So I sincerely appeal to all of you to go back to Padartha Vigyan Tarka Sangra so that we understand these articles our way, identifying what that Pratidnya is, identifying what that Hetu, Udaharan, Upanay, Nigam. And when you start looking at the article with disbelief, then you can check for the Hetuabhasas, which Hetuabhasas are there. They are appearing like Hetus, but they are not real Hetus. And that's how you can really do a critical reading. So what is that introduction to the clinical trial? I love this person, Sir Austin Bradford. The first statistic books that I read was written by Sir Austin Bradford. The clinical trial is carefully and ethically designed experiment with the aim of answering some precisely framed questions. What was that precisely framed question in Ayurveda Avtaran? Charak Samhita, first chapter, Dhiranjivitya, and they have a very precise framed question. They ask, they're sitting together, all rishis, all acharyas, and they ask a question. Kaha sat tesham samupaya? What is the effective medicine for these disease conditions? And after going through, conducting various clinical trials, they concluded Trisutram Shashwatam Punyam Bubudeyam Pitam. And they identified Ayurveda, Hitahitam Sukham Dukham, something like that. So this is what we need to understand today in Corona days, because our science, that is Ayurveda, Charak Shushruta Vagbhat, Madhav Nidan, Sharandhar, etc., is rich heritage that we have got as a legacy, and we need to do something better. I'll just finish my presentation with a little bit of Ayurveda there. The shlok you read in Charak Samhita, Vidya Vitarko Vijnanam, Smrutihi Tatparata Kriya, Yasyate Shadgunaha Tasya, Na Sadhyamati Vartate. Then what do? I plot that Vidya on a horizontal level. Vidya is knowledge. I plot that Vitarka, which is critical thinking, on the vertical axis. And I advance on the x-axis and y-axis. There is a point here, which is Vigyan, that is understanding the science. And that is the aha moment. And that is the eureka moment. After reading the article, you come to the conclusion, yes, this herbal medicine could prevent common cold. And what is that aha moment? We can use these herbal medicines in the management of COVID-19. So Vidya, you read the content of the article. Vitarka, you tested the whole thing on statistical significant test, critical thinking. And then conclusion is that aha moment, is that eureka moment. And this is how we can decipher Vidya Vitarko Vijnanam Shruti Tatparata Kriya. Okay. What happens if you want to understand the content? Yes, grammar is there, Padacheda, Padarthokti, Vigraha, Vakya Yojana. And for critical thinking, you need asking a question, doubts, and then seeking the samadhan, akshepasya samadhanam. This process, unfortunately, we stopped following. And therefore, that aha moment, eureka moment is very, very less in Ayurveda. Just see this. This is something Jadoo. I don't really understand what this is. Chi-square, observed, expected, and expected. And then they will calculate the probability value based on the value of chi. Just look at what Charak Samhita has to say. How do they calculate the chi-square value? Active herbal medicines were given. Placebo, nothing was given, only that reference book was given. Number of cured, number of not cured, and you put it and you calculate that chi-square and you calculate that probability value. Just try to understand this. From Charak Samhita, that Maitreya is asking a question to Punarvasu Acharya. He is asking a question to Punarvasu Atreya. And he's asking, what does he ask? Ki, sir, you say that your chikitsa is very, very useful, but I don't agree with you. No iti Maitreya. Kim karanam? And then he say, because we see patients who are not having any medicines with them, who don't have parichara, who are not rich, who don't follow the do's and don'ts of the disease, still they get well. Those who are equipped with all this, they die. And therefore, when you say that your medicines are effective, I don't really agree with you. Probably it is all placebo. Kyun? Yatasya pratikurvan siddhyati, pratikurvan mriyate. Apratikurvan siddhyati, apratikurvan mriyate. Tataha chintate bheshajam abheshajena avishishtamiti. Just look at these lines. Pratikurvan siddhyati, pratikurvan mriyate. Apratikurvan siddhyati, apratikurvan mriyate. This is what is he doing. Pratikurvan siddhyati, pratikurvan mriyate. Apratikurvan siddhyati, apratikurvan mriyate. Tataha chintate. Your medicine is not medicine. Your medicine does have a placebo effect. And look at this graph. This is quite similar to this. Pratikurvan siddhyati, pratikurvan mriyate. Apratikurvan siddhyati, apratikurvan mriyate. So everything that is modern today is already mentioned in Ayurvedic text, and that's why we call our Ayurvedic science the eternal one that we need to understand. We have a very beautiful format of protocol writing. Karan, Karan, Karyayoni. These three will give you the background of the trial and objectives and aims. Then you have Karyam, Karyaphalam, Anubandha, and Desh. Design of the trial, prospective, retrospective, controlled, not controlled. Then inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria, everything. And Kalaha, Pravrutti, Upay, timing, deadline of completion, termination, etc. etc. After you follow this protocol and do a clinical trial, you get the data, you get the results. How do we publish it? Pratidnya, Parvato Vanniman, Tribhuvan Kirti Jwaragna, Hetu. Look at this number of patients. Udaharan, this is the patients that we used. Upanay, therefore, Nigaman, therefore. So, introduction, material methods, results and discussion. So when I read modern articles, I make sure that I understand who does what, when, where, when, how in this format. Karanam, Karanam, Karyayonihi, Karyam, Karyaphalam, Anubandha Desh, Kalaha, Pravrutti and Upay. So, and then Pratidna, Hetu, Udaharan. So when somebody cites certain hetus for establishing the efficacy or non-efficacy of a particular formulation, I look at those hetus very critically. And then I make sure whether they are real hetus or they are appearing like hetus or they are hetuabhasas. Making use of hetuabhasas while reading any article will make you understand the confounding factors, and then you don't get cheated by wrong science. Thank you, sir. Thank you, friends, for kind attention. My point in today's lecture was to make you understand what is recent, what is ultra-modern, is already mentioned in our Ayurvedic textbooks. So let us go back to our ancient most Ayurvedic science as today's modern science and make sure that we make use of Ayurvedic remedies to combat not only corona, but all health conditions. With these words, I think, thank you for the kind attention. You may have certain questions, you can put them in chat. Or I don't know whether these people have email ID where you can communicate through your queries. Thank you for your attention. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
There are comments, suggestions. I see the chat section there.
Yeah, I'll just check. If there are any questions or queries, please ask. You can unmute and ask, or you can type it in the chat box.
Whatever they have put in chat is all that they had some technical issues.
Yeah.
I think, doctor, do you have some email ID so that they can?
Yes, they can send it to my email address, or you can also write it to Ayurveda Research USA @gmail.com.
Okay.
I have put it in the chat box, and it was a wonderful presentation, sir. And I can see that there were so many inputs from Padartha Vignan. There are many participants who are undergraduate students of Ayurveda, postgraduate students of Ayurveda, and they believe that Padartha Vignan is something which is, alien subject in the Ayurveda, and they don't associate with that subject. So I think with your inputs and how you have correlated brilliantly with the research terminology, it simplifies everything. That knowledge of Padartha Vignan is not going into vain, and in fact, it is going to help us to decode the scientific literature.
Yeah.
And I would also like to ask one question from my side.
Yeah.
That you have mentioned about Pancha Abhaya Vakya. You have also mentioned about the protocol format.
Right.
Can you just put some of the inputs with, I would say, Tantra Yukti? Because Tantra
Yes.
Yukti is such an interesting topic, but
Yes.
maybe in terms of journal article review, if you
Right.
can have one or two Tantra Yuktis which are very close to that, maybe the students can make use of it.
Okay, there are number of tantra yuktis which we can use to identify the hetu avas. Say for example,
It will
a
be better.
padartha. Say for example, a first tantra yukti or one of the tantra yuktis is padartha.
Yeah.
Padasya arthaha padarthaha. So I started using the tantra yukti right at the beginning of the article.
Right.
Effects or efficacy.
Hmm.
So if you are aware of adhikaran tantra yukti, so what topic they are discussing? Are they discussing the result section, background section, introduction section, etc., etc.? So that adhikaran is a topic. Then you can really identify certain unsaid things in the article, which we will be able to understand by making use of Vakya Shesha Tantra Yukti. So there are various things. If you are really interested in this topic, we can have another session, how to make use of Hetuabhas in critically analyzing the article. So
Brilliant.
I have a certain presentation which talks about how to identify the Hetuabhasas. So Vivichar, Viruddha. There is no patient and they're talking about we saw the effect of XYZ medicine in obesity patients. Okay, and the whole article is written. And what are the limitations of this study? And it's that simple. The sample size was too small. Matlab, there was no ashraya.
Exactly.
Ashraya Siddha Hetuabhas is applicable. This is how we need to understand our Tarka Sangraha and Tantra Yukti in understanding the research that is coming in front of us as if it is real, authentic research. And we have the tools, but then we need to make use of those tools.
Right, and it is a nice suggestion, sir. Maybe in the next article we can have a separate discussion on Hetuabhas.
Fine.
And generally, what happens?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Yes.
Generally, it happens that in Hetuabhas or something, it is kind of a checklist.
Yes.
It can identify. And I was thinking that when there is a critical appraisal of any article, what we do is we use various checklists. Like there is a consort statement, consort guideline, consort flow chart for critical analysis of any clinical trial.
Yeah.
If we use our own checklist, which are established by Charak, which are established by various samhitas and also in Padartha Vignan,
Right.
so that will give us an additional edge to Ayurvedic research, because I think that is the limitation where we cannot decode our research in terms of existing checklist.
Yeah.
So I think that is
Give it
a
to you.
new aha moment from this journal club meeting,
Okay,
and
thank
we can definitely go ahead on this, sir. So
Thank you.
if there are no questions from the participants, and there is a comment from Milind Patil, sir. It's very wonderful to see all the esteemed participants, students to be in this meeting. And this meeting will be broadcasted on our Facebook account as well as on our Council for Ayurveda Research website. You can, and this whole journal activity is not for any criticizing or any judgments on the article, but it gives us a tool to decode the scientific methodology, and we will take that in the positive framework of mind, because that is what we disclaim at the very beginning of every meeting. This journal article was interesting because it was focusing on COVID-19, and actually Patil sir always is very keen on reading between the lines in Samhita, and he used some of the terminologies which were helpful for journal article review. So I would like to really appreciate his effort and accept our invitation to be a presenter for this meeting. And it was a wonderful session to have you here, sir. And your presentation was totally Ayurvedic centric, and that was the high point of this presentation. Thank you so much, everyone, for being there. And we'll meet in the next month. Hopefully, in our future meetings, as per the sir's suggestion, we can also have Hetvabhas and some of the Padartha Vigyan inputs to decode the article. Thank you so much, Patil sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaskar, sir. Thank you.